Welcome to Hobby Clubhouse with a tutorial on how to fix broken pegs. During my shooting of the Zaku III and Zaku III Custom double review, this happened. The ball joint on the hip broke right off at the base of its stem. This has no doubt happened to a good number of us, and I'm sure you remember that moment when your heart sank and you realized that the kit has broken. But fear not, today we're going to look at how to fix our broken pegs with the help of some tools, so let's get to work. Now, as with many of these tutorial videos, you may know about this stuff already if you're awesome and experienced, so don't burn me at the stake if this covers stuff that you already know. So for this fix, we're going to need the following tools. First, you're going to need a ruler. Mine here is accurate to 0.5 millimeter, which is very handy, but a regular one like this clear one will do fine as well. Next, you're going to need some super glue. I like to use this Ciano acrylic glue from 3M, which is really good for all kinds of modeling work. And we can't use this modeling glue because the types like this one are for plastic and we're going to be working with metal. Then, we need a pin vise and a drill bit set. Unfortunately, you can't avoid getting this because we have to bore a hole. So if you don't have one yet, hop onto your favorite modeling supply store online and they ought to have some. If not, most reputable hardware stores will have some for sale. Next, we need some metal rod stock. I have a few here of various diameters and you can get these mostly from modeling supply stores, especially ones that sell train models. But if you're really strapped on money or you really just can't get any rod stock, then go look around your home for one of these. Yes, a paperclip. Preferably a larger one like the one I have here because they have a thicker rod. Lastly, we need a tool suitable for cutting soft metals like this box cutter or this pair of pliers with a cutting blade at the end. But no matter what, do not use your modeling cutters to cut these, even for soft metals like copper. They will chip your blade, or even worse, they'll snap the blade right off for more delicate cutters like the Godhead ones right here. So I hope you've got your tools ready. Let's continue. Every broken kit is different, but we're going to need to separate the broken parts to do our repair. In my case, the ball joint and the stem are stuck inside the thigh of the Zaku III Custom, so I removed the lower leg and the joint. And then I split open the shell of the thigh to get to the polycap and the broken piece. From here, it's just a simple process of removing the ball off the polycap. I then disassemble the hip of the Zaku III Custom to free up the rest of that joint. Now we need to prepare some of the rod stock that'll reinforce the peg when we reattach it to the hip. To demonstrate my own recommendation, I'm going to use this paperclip as the rod piece. About 1 centimeter is usually quite enough. If you're using a cutting tool like my pliers here, then just measure the rod and then snip it right off. And make sure you're wearing protective gear because the rod can jump up sometimes and it might hurt your eyes. If you're using a box cutter, also mark the spot to cut, and then lay the rod onto a flat surface, and then steadily roll the rod around and run its surface along the edge of the blade. Now I know it doesn't seem like this is gonna work, but it really does, trust me. This will get you a slightly cleaner cut if that's something you like, and after a little while, the metal will give way and then you'll have your length of rod for the repair. Now let's bore a hole. If you bought your rod stock, then you probably know exactly how wide it is because the store usually lists it. If you're using a paperclip, then using a caliper, you can measure the diameter. Now, if you don't have a fancy one like this one right here, then you can still eyeball it with a ruler the best you can. The hole can be a little bit larger than the rod and it's still going to work fine. So once we know the diameter, in my case here the paperclip is 1.2 millimeters, we can find the closest drill bit size that we have. Optionally, we can use 1 or 2 sizes smaller than that as well. Now, do your best to determine the center of the peg's cross-section. It'll always be a little bit imprecise, but we can adjust it a little bit later, so don't worry. An optional step here is to start with one of those 2 smaller drill bits to make a pilot hole, so we reduce the chance of the peg splitting open. So, we'll install the bit into the chuck. There should be 4 sizes among the chucks to choose from, and it should be enough to keep the drill secure. So once it's in, get some tape or a bright marker and make a mark at about 0.6 or 0.7 centimeters up the drill bit so that we know how deep we need to go. Now we want to go slowly and we're going to try to keep the drill perpendicular to the surface the best we can. It won't ever be perfect, so don't sweat it even if it's a little bit off kilter, because it's gonna often be that way. Next, we'll go up one size and repeat that whole process. Now we'll switch to our target size and bore down once more to about 0.6 or 0.7 centimeters. Now try and insert the rod piece into your new hole. If it's a little tight but it still fits, it's fine. If it's a little loose, that's fine as well, because the glue is going to help us fill in any extra space. So once this hole is satisfactory, then repeat the process for the other side in exactly the same way. So in my case, I used the smallest size, and then moved up one size, and then got my target size. With both holes done, try fitting the broken part back onto the main piece with the rod installed. If it's too long, we might need to trim the rod down a little bit, or make one of the holes a little bit deeper. Now if the two pieces don't line up very well, and that's going to happen quite often, then we're going to need to make one of the holes a little bit bigger. So here I've installed a drill bit that's 1.5mm wide, which is a little bit bigger than the 1.2mm that we need. The idea here is that by widening the hole, it's going to give us some wiggle room that we need to line up the two pieces accurately. In my experience, moving up one size is usually enough to overcome any such inaccuracies. Next, it's just a simple matter of adding some glue onto this smaller hole, and then inserting the rod into it. Then, we'll put some more glue onto the rod right here, enough to make sure that's going to fill up the space. And then, we fit the other piece into place, and presto, the pieces are perfectly aligned. One extra step you can take is to reinforce the joint right here with some more glue, though make sure the peg won't get too thick. And you know what? That's all we need to do. Go work on another model or watch some more videos from my channel and come back in an hour or two. When the glue is fully cured, strong glues like cyanoacrylate ones will usually be enough to resist the torque when you turn the leg, and the metal rod inside will protect the joint against shearing forces from side to side. You can do the same repair for smaller pegs too, so long as you have the right drill bit and the right rod stock, and you'll never be afraid of broken pegs again. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you've tried this and tell me how it went for you. Or leave any questions you have about this repair. And also, don't forget to look us up on social media with updates on upcoming videos and sneak peeks at future projects. Links are in the description below. Or hang out here some more with one of these other videos. But before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos from Hobby Clubhouse, and I'll see you next time.